Hi, today's topic is what is a CVSS? So a CVSS is Common Vulnerability Scoring System. So if you see a CVSS score, well, that tells you how serious a vulnerability is. Typically, it's applied to a CVE. If you're not sure what that is, then please watch my video. I'll put a link in the description below. And CVSS is a agreed way of doing this, which is used by lots of folks, particularly in the open source world, and it gives you a score to say, well, how serious is this thing? And it's a numerical score, but sometimes people map that to sort of low, medium, high, critical. But it's also important to understand that a CVSS score, while it's generally applicable to a CVE, to a vulnerability, it may not be appropriate for your usage of that. So let's say you are using, for instance, a cryptographic library and that has a hash function in it. I'll put a link to hash functions in the description as well. Well, it may be that the way you're using that hash function, which has a vulnerability and a CVSS score of let's say 9, which is very high, actually you're using it in a way where this is not going to cause a problem. So although you need to be aware of it, a CVSS score is something that needs to be interpreted. You need to understand your system and how you're using the dependencies, the products, the systems, the libraries as a part of your product or your service, and understand how problems and vulnerabilities within that affect what you're doing. So you should always take this not with a pinch of salt, but be very careful about how you use this knowledge. Don't assume that just because something has a high CVSS score, there's going to be a big problem. And don't assume that just something that's got a low CVSS score, that it's not going to be a problem for you. It may indeed be a problem based on how you're using it. I hope that's useful. If you've got questions about this or anything else, please subscribe to my channel. Ask me questions. I'll do what I can to help.